Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how you can connect your JT-4000 micro from Behringer to a Midi keyboard and also to the iPad, which you can see here. So a couple of things, right? You're probably going to want a USB hub, good things to have anyway. If you want to connect it to a Midi keyboard, obviously a Midi keyboard, in this case the Arturia Mini Lab, and audio interface, right? So if you only have a 2-channel audio interface, you're absolutely fine. That's not a problem. I am using a Steinberg 816C, so that has 8 inputs. So you can see that in channel 1 here, I have USB 1, and all that means is that my microphone is plugged into channel 1's input on the Steinberg, and it's the first one. So we'll make some connections first, right? So let's first of all connect the Midi keyboard to the iPad. So we do this with we're going to use this USB hub. So I'm going to use this cable, which is a USB-A to a USB-C. So let's plug that in first like this. Just let me fiddle around with this for a minute and get that in there. And then I'm just going to get this thing plugged into the back here, make sure everything is back in line. Okay, super. And I'm just going to switch the power on, and this will send power to the Mini Freak, my Mini Lab, sorry. Right, now I'm going to do the same thing for the JT. So we've got power and it's connected to the audio interface. Right, so I'll get another cable. Sorry for the cut there. I was searching for the cable. Right, I'm going to explain these connections in a sec. So we're going to plug in the USB-C connection here, which is the only connection. There's only one connection USB, so you have to use it with USB, and it gets its power from there as well. That's why it's good to have a powered hub for this. So we're going to plug that in here, switch that on, and turn the JT-4000 on right now. So this is now switched on. This is switched on. We've got these 3 connections now. This connection here, this first one in the USB hub, this is your audio interface. So your audio interface goes into the USB hub. Your MIDI keyboard goes into the USB hub, and your synth goes into the USB hub, right? This, the output from the USB hub, that's the thing that goes into the iPad. And if I quickly bring the iPad over into shot here, let me just show you. This cable here is this cable here, and it goes into the iPad. Okay. Right. Here we can start. Now, if we look at the iPad screen, let me get my mouse working. You will see that if I play with this control here, nothing happens, but I want this to control the fader volume for my mic, for starters. So I'm just going to click on here, go to channel controls, and hit on volume. And because this is connected now, because this is connected to our iPad via the USB hub, I can go learn, move this control, and now I've got control of my microphone volume, right? So that's just handy for me when I'm making videos. I always set it up with what's it. Now, if you're not seeing your USB connection, you'll see Steinberg USB here, right? If I click on this, you'll see here it says this is your like MIDI connections. You can click on here and add any MIDI connection you like to your iPad. Okay, don't worry about these ones because these are keyboards that I use but aren't plugged in. But you will see that the Mini Lab has this little star by it, and choose Mini Lab MIDI, and you're golden for your MIDI connections, right? So that's in case you're having trouble setting that up. Now let's sort out the JT-4000. First of all, let's get some sound to it. Audio. Now remember, I need to plug in the output here into my audio interface, and I'm going to use channels 3 and 4. So on the other end of this cable, are 2 outputs, 2 mono 1/4-inch outputs, right? So it's like a splitter cable, and that is going into my audio interface. I'm going to plug that in there like this, I'm going to click on this, and where it says hardware input, I'm going to choose 3 and 4. Remember I said I had 8 inputs? So 4 stereo, 8 mono. So 3 and 4. I'm going to engage this, and now this will receive audio from my audio interface 3 and 4. And if I bring this up now in volume, you'll hear the JT-4000. And we can control its volume with this. And the same thing we can apply to this. We can go into our MIDI settings here, click on our icon, click on channel controls, click on volume, click lane, and wibble number 2. And now I can control the volume of the synth with the MIDI controller as well. Now I want to control this with this. Now this is also quite simple. Oh, in AUM it's really easy, but you can do it in other DAWs as well. So at the moment, playing this keyboard won't play anything, and I want to play my JT-4000 with my MIDI controller. Right, so we'll go up here, okay, and this is our MIDI routings. Don't worry too much about it looking like it's madness. I am going to find Minilab. Minilab 3 MIDI. There are 3 types here, okay? You can have through, MCU, and MIDI. With the Minilab, I want MIDI, and you'll see it's connected to MIDI control already. We set that up, right? You saw that in the channel settings. So now all I need to go down is find my JT-4000 micro, because it is connected via MIDI inside of here. So the iPad reads it, it sees it, right? As soon as it's plugged into an audio, a USB hub, and that hub finally ends up into the iPad with this main output, because you've got your audio interface, JT, Minilab, output of the hub into the iPad, okay? Now I'm going to choose here, I'm going to find the connection, do this, and now I can control the JT-4000. It's 4-note polyphonic, by the way. Okay. Now I could make some adjustments to the sound. Maybe we could. This won't be a programming tutorial. This has had an update recently, about 6 months ago, and I haven't done a video for the update, but it adds loads of cool new stuff like chord mode and things like this, and yeah, all the cool stuff you can do. I will do another tutorial just on the 4000, but I'm just going to make some adjustments to the amp envelope here. Okay, can change the octave. Right, now, a couple of adjustments. If you want to use the arpeggiator, that's fine. But I want everything to be controlled by the iPad's clock. Okay, so let me quickly go. I'll just go to ARP. And you see, you can't see, but it says key there. And I'm just going to change this to ARP. And you'll see that it's not using the arpeggiator. This is because I have the arpeggiator set to USB. Remember, we're connected to the iPad now. So if I scroll, if I'm in ARP mode here, right? So ARP switched on, and I use our control here, go all the way to the end. And it says A, source, and it says USB. If I switch this to internal, but it's using the internal clock. I'm going to switch this to USB, okay? And now it's going to ignore the internal clock. So I need to make some more settings. So you can go as deep as you like with this kind of stuff. So where it says 100 BPM here on the screen, tap on this and you'll get some more options. Tap on these 3 little dots here and look for MIDI clock send. Click MIDI clock send, send MIDI clock on, send it to the JT-4000 micro, because everything is now recognized, right? So if the transport is running, that means you can have drum machines and stuff, and everything is good. In fact, we could see it. Let's look for audio unit extension, and we'll see what we can find. If I can quickly find something like Hammerhead, I'll click on this. I'll turn the volume down for this because it'll be quite loud. I'm going to stop the transport just for a moment. Open Hammerhead. I'm going to choose a preset. See how useful this stuff is. I'm going to use I'm going to use super basic, right? So I'm going to click this and click that. So super basic patch. But now, because everything is receiving MIDI from the clock of the iPad or AUM more. Now, just to prove a point here, if I hold these chords and I'm going to increase the tempo, okay, and then we can stop our transport. Now, let's turn the volume down on that. Now we can go a little bit further. Let's go on here and add a MIDI channel. So I'm going to drag this MIDI channel back because I like it to be in front of the channel I'm using. I'm going to click on open here and I am going to choose Harmony Bloom, right? Now, this is where it all starts to get very, very, very cool, of course, because now we can control our JT with the iPad with its MIDI sequences. So, for example, I'm just going to go here now with Harmony Bloom, MIDI output, click on this, find the JT-4000 micro, click on this, and we're done. Now, Harmony Bloom is going to be sending MIDI to the JT-4000. So, there's a couple of things I need to do. I need to switch this control on here, and that is sync. And that is syncing Harmony Bloom with the transport control. So let's choose a better preset. Actually, here we go. Now, let me stop this. I am going to set ARP back to keyboard mode as well because we don't need it on arpeggiator, right? And let's go and go back to oscillator. I'm going to change this preset. I'm going to, go to number 20, which is a bit more kind of mellow, I think, which is called Vibes. Here we go. Okay, so now that's that. So that's Harmony Bloom. Let's see what else we can add in. Let's sort of tap here, add another node, and let's look for, say, Shift Bud, one of Chem's apps, Chem Ol Clay, Ol Sai, sorry. God, it's hard work. Right, I'm going to MIDI outputs and just go to JT-4000 micro. And now if I play, Shift Bud is now playing this. Okay. Now, remembering that JT-4000 micro is 4-note polyphonic. It's remarkable, really, isn't it? I mean, really. I mean, it's got massive sound design potential. But I did do a video. I'll put a link in it at the end of the video, which was more of a tutorial, but that was before the update, so it still all applies. I'm going to double tap here to add another node, and this time I am going to add helium from 4 pockets. Now let's open up helium. Let's do a few things here. I'm going to go to Media Bay. I'm going to go to Clips. I'm going to go A minor because I like A minor if I can find it. Yeah, C major or A minor. Progressions, minor progressions. And I'm just going to throw in this minor progression here like this and just drop it in and close that there. I'm going to set a loop for 4 bars. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I can set it for, but I'll set a loop for 8 bars there. Click on sync. So that's going to sync to our BPM, and click on loop. So this just carries on going round and round. Now what will happen when I press play, I'll need to connect helium first. So outputs, I'm just going to use port 1 for this because it's the first one. I'm going to send port 1 to helium, to the JT micro, and now it's just going to play these chords, this chord progression. Okay. Right, did I have helium on loop? Let me just check. No. So I'm going to reset that. Okay. Now it gets super cool. I don't know why helium isn't looping. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, I switched loop. Ah, right, idiot. Let's actually set a loop point, Doug. That'd be good. That's great. Try that. That is strange. It keeps switching loop off for some reason when it gets to the end. It's working now. It was probably me, right? So let's add another one. Let's add in, say, Black Hole. Epic. See, one of the new things is now a new mix between the oscillators. Very cool. I mean, it's going to sound bonkers if I bring in other MIDI controllers, right? But like I said, you can add as many MIDI controllers or whatever as you like. So or any effects, of course. Anyway, and of course, play it with a MIDI controller. Awesome stuff. Guys, I really hope I explained this okay. It's very difficult to kind of film all the connections and stuff, but just be knowing that your audio interface, doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's got two inputs, you can plug in your stereo output here. I'm not sure if it's stereo or mono, actually. Even it might just take a mono output, but it's a headphone jack, and headphone jacks tend to have this stereo connection. So I just got the splitter cable, which splits into 2 1/4-inch jacks and goes into channels 3 and 4 of my audio interface here, as you can see. So like, you know, your audio input, it'll show up as soon as it's plugged into, plug your audio interface into the hub. You keep whatever else, you could have a bigger audio USB hub, plug more stuff in. Then the output of the audio interface goes into your iPad. Anyway, top job, cool beans. I honestly hope you find this helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Ta-da!